It's going to be Zander Gabriel one-on-one with the IWC icon, Jimmy Vegas, in just a heartbeat as we set it up to Dave Kitch in the ring.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the Facebook Free-for-All kickoff match set for one fall. Introducing first, making his way to the ring from Cinnabar Island. He weighed in with a credit score of 515. Zander Gabriel.
What a wild free-for-all it has been thus far. Benjamin C. Steele. Of course, I am Joe Dombrowski here at the commentary station, and we are set for Zander Gabriel, a failed television show host who is making IWC his own personal talk show by the looks of things.
Well, Joe, I don't think I'd say failed. I would say aspiring. Failure is only when you give up, and Zander Gabriel is not a guy that gives up.
I don't think he knows when to stop. How about that?
Well, I mean, in the eye of the beholder, that's how you may feel. I'll tell you, he better be ready for this match. He better have that fanny pack loaded and ready to go, because he's going up against...
Loaded with what?
Well, I mean, maybe he needs some motivational material, but he's going to have to be ready because he's taking on one of the IWC greats.
Well, that's to be sure. Zander made his debut at Proving Ground, teaming with Bulk Nasty. Zander feels like he and Bulk Nasty are like best friends. Zander runs into him at the gym, always tries to talk strategy with him. Bulk, I don't think, has friends. When you're with him, he barely liked you.
Well, that's a good point. It was more business than anything else.
I see. Well, this is some risky business for Gabriel to wind himself up in, wouldn't you say?
Well, there's not a lot of men that step to Jimmy Vegas and take pride and remember good feelings.
His opponent, coming down the aisle from Las Vegas, Nevada. He weighed in at 257 pounds. The IWC icon, Jimmy Vegas.
First ever two-time IWC champion, former IWC tag champion, multiple times over as well. A daunting and ominous entrance for Vegas as we get closer and closer to the top of the hour, about 15 minutes away from IWC Threat Level Midnight. And you can tell just by the athletes coming through the curtain and getting their last words in on us, tensions are high and anticipation runs deep as far as these men trying to make a statement.
Well, you know, you can sense anger from individuals, and certainly professional wrestlers, no stranger to animosity, to anger, and you and I felt it just standing out there. Guys are pumped. Guys are ready to make a statement tonight. We're going to see that right now.
What is going to happen when Wardlow is unleashed tonight at Threat Level Midnight? Walked in Super Indie champion, walked in IWC champion, was defeated for the IWC title in a match he didn't know he was having after wrestling 3 times already, and then having the Super Indie Championship stolen by Josh Alexander. Wardlow is an absolute man on a mission. I saw Wardlow backstage before we went on the air. He is absolutely silent. He's not talking to anybody, and I mean, he looked so angry he could punch a wall.
Well, I'll tell you, Wardlow didn't talk to me at all. Not that him and I are on a first-name buddy-buddy, pal-pal basis, but think about it. I don't want to say that Wardlow was calm by any stretch of the imagination, but when you're the champion, you got those good feelings going. Those aren't with him anymore. I know I said I'm confident in Jackson Argos, and I don't want to take anything away from him, but I hope Jackson Argos has his working boots on tonight.
Yeah, well, the official gets in the way, and Zander Gabriel, I think, manipulated the position of the official that time and able to take advantage.
Well, that was an intelligent maneuver by Zander Gabriel.
Gabriel, his second ever IWC matchup.
Imagine what it would mean if he were able to defeat one of the first IWC heavyweight champions of all time, Jimmy Vegas. I mean, what a feather in the cap. Now, I know he's a modest individual. He probably wouldn't want to bring that up going forward, but he certainly would be deserving.
I need to point out that Zander was screaming about his best friend, Bulk Nasty. I think Zander's trying to send a message to Jimmy Vegas for Bulk Nasty. I don't think Bulk asked him to do any of that.
Well, you know, he could be a spokesperson. I mean, you could talk about your friends. What's wrong with that? You talk about me all the time.
BC, speaking of speaking your mind, are Chris LaRusso and Jock Sampson really as confident as they led on? Could they be tag team champions? The main event have fought off all challenges that have come in their way for many, many months. Will we see that happen tonight? Gannon and Duke are very, very focused.
Well, Gannon and Duke never take a day off. They're both athletes. They know what they need to do in that ring. But let me ask you this, Joe Dombrowski. When Chris LaRusso and Jock Sampson were out there with us, didn't you feel the aura of confidence?
Well, I certainly did. But the bottom line is Jock and LaRusso have been on a losing streak for quite some time. They were only able to snap recently. They're an alliance of frustration in so many ways, and we'll see if they'll be able to stay on point as the foot right between the eyes of Vegas could be upset here. 2 count only. What about Andrew Palace after hanging with Christopher Daniels for so long a month ago? Now faces Josh Alexander, former Super Indy tournament winner, Super Indy tournament runner-up this year. Alexander was at home for 3 years, waiting for an opportunity, waiting to get back into the United States wrestling scene, and he would have been a 2-time Super Indy tournament winner if not for the just absolute path of destruction that is Wardlow. Does Palace have what it takes to survive the physically imposing nature of Alexander, who physically holds a Super Indy title, but not officially?
Well, Joe, as I said earlier, possession 9/10 of the law. I know a few attorneys.
They cover here, 2 count only.
They could clear that up for you and explain that if you'd like. I'm sure they'd be more than willing to. But if we're going to talk about Andrew Palace, he's got to be on a high right now. He hung with one of the best in the world of all time at what Andrew Palace does, that is professional wrestling. Let's talk about the other side of that. Josh Alexander, he should be feeling high as well because he has possession of the IWC Super Indy Championship.
Oh, and Zander Gabriel going high. The full Nelson slam by Jimmy Vegas. Certainly, if you've not been a part of IWC on pay-per-view before, you'll have your opportunity to in just a little bit over 10 minutes from now. Threat Level Midnight, the sequel to the sequel, all the Super Indy Fallout. And you never know what you're going to see when IWC is 100% live. Anything can happen.
Absolutely. They say live is the most interesting, creative, and unpredictable element, and we're certainly finding that out. You and I are no stranger to that.
And we're going to kick things off with the Jackson Argo celebration.
Joe, do you have your official maple leaf ready?
My official maple leaf.
Are you going to stand?
What does that even mean?
Are you going to stand to attention and salute the Jackson Argos, our IWC World Heavyweight Champion?
He's not a political figure.
Well, it's going to be hail to the champ because he's the champ and he needs hailing.
What is he, Prime Minister now just because he outsmarted Justin Plummer and Wardlow and the rest of IWC?
Yeah, you know what? I nominate him Prime Minister of IWC.
Oh, good grief. Vegas elevates Gabriel.
If you play your cards right, you are wearing the right color here in red. Maybe
there's a cover, 2 count only.
Maybe we can get you a cabinet position.
Well, maybe you could take a position alongside your buddy Justin LaBar in the Katie Arquette entourage. How about that? They have a full night ahead of them with Katie and Zoe Sky. I think Zoe Sky could pull off an upset here. We could have a new women's champion. We saw it before with the likes of Madison Rayne. It could happen tonight, but right now what's happening is the Cha-Ching Slam by the IWC icon, Jimmy Vegas, another notch on the belt.
Here is your winner, Jimmy Vegas.
Vegas the victory. What do you think? Did Zander's quote-unquote best buddy, Bulk Nasty, get impressed by that matchup?
I don't know if Bulk Nasty was impressed. I don't know if Bulk Nasty had his eyes on this, but well, I think Zander Gabriel may need to go back to the drawing board, maybe have a pep talk or two with Bulk Nasty and see where they go from there.
Well, Jimmy Vegas walks out with the victory here on the Facebook free-for-all as we are just 10 minutes away from going live at the top of the hour, IWCWrestling.com. It's going to be Threat Level Midnight, the sequel to the sequel, and with so much going down, with so much hostility in the air, truly anything can happen. Ladies and gentlemen, for BC Steel, I'm Joe Dombrowski. Thank you for joining us on the Facebook free-for-all. Log on to IWCWrestling.com because in just a few heartbeats away, IWC is live across the world.